Bob has children in New York area, so I have acquired 2 sons-in-laws from Long Island. So I ask, what does the future hold for Bob and I as I try and maintain my quest to follow in his giant footsteps? Hopefully more simchas, health, and grandchildren. But certainly our futures will involve more music. And with apologies to Tevye, dear God, you made many, many attorneys. I realize, of course, it's no shame to be an attorney. No comments, please. But it's no great honor either. So what would have been so terrible if you had made me a rabbi? If I were a rabbi, my name would be Bob Lowy, and I'd live in Metairie. All day long I'd sing with Tori May. If I were a wise rabbi, I would shine my forehead daily to keep the congregation awake during my sermons. Then I'd call in the Rebbitzin, and we'd dine at Shogun. Oops, Royal China. Oops. I'd build a big tall shul with beamers by the dozen right at the causeway exit, and a fine shopping center closed on Shabbat next door. There would be a mountain of bagels just going up and one even longer coming down, and lots spread leading nowhere just for show. I'd fill the seats with Jews praying and singing for all the Crescent City to see and hear, and the saints and pelicans would ask for my blessings. I turn as red as borscht when I blow the shofar and bike on the levee each Shabbat, singing Kol Drei 5 times or more. I would say this is one of my favorite Torah portions. On page 116, that's 116. If I were Rabbi Louis, ba 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 ba, bum! Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny, for the beautiful song about Rabbi. Now I'm going to call up Sherry Tarr, the immediate past president from 2011 to 2013.
I didn't know I was supposed to sing, Johnny. The other night, I had a dream about the rabbis. No. People know. Now, when I was president, I dreamt almost nightly about him for 2 years. But it's been a number of months since he has appeared. In my dream, I had called him on the phone because I needed help. I can't remember with what, but of course he was there for me, as he has always been there for me the past 19 years, which makes him the rabbi who has been with me continuous in my life the longest. I am very lucky in that all of this time I have been able to maintain a close relationship with him. I've worked with him as a synagogue committee member and chair, as a religious school and Hebrew school teacher, as his secretary, as sisterhood president, as a fellow Jewish communal professional, and finally, as a synagogue president. Personally, he has performed a number of life cycle events for the TARs, a baby naming, 2 consecrations, 2 b'nai mitzvah, 2 confirmations, and 2 chanukiyat havayit. And please God, he will also officiate at a couple of weddings. So getting back to my dream. As I said, Rabbi has always been there for me, regardless of whether I was speaking to him as a congregant, as a Federation professional, or as the synagogue president. And I know this is true for many of us here tonight, which is why we are here to honor him. So as you can see, he has truly earned the title of my rabbi. But tonight, I will share him, and he is our rabbi. Mazel tov, Rabbi, and I look forward to many more years of you being our rabbi, but mostly my rabbi.
Thank you, Sherry. And now I'm calling up Lee Watson, who was past president from 2007 to 2009.
Hello, everybody. It is hard to follow those two. Thank you, Michelle, for putting me last and not first, but that's okay. It really is my honor tonight to say a few words about our Rabbi Bob Lowy. Don't worry, Rabbi, this is not a roast, and I won't embarrass you too much. Too much. But tonight is a chance for us to celebrate 30 years of Bob's service to Congregation Gates of Prayer. It's hard for me to gain a perspective on a 30-year span of time. As Sherry mentioned, we can all think about the joyous life cycle events we've shared with the rabbi. There have been multiple generations of weddings, baby namings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and confirmations. And my family is certainly no exception. Next week, my twins, Georgie and Sammy, are being confirmed, which is hard to believe because Bob performed their baby namings and bat mitzvahs. In fact, the rabbi also did Sydney's baby naming almost 20 years ago to the day. Now, I have to admit that Jill and I recently watched the video from Sydney's baby naming. Rabbi, you looked amazing. Not at all. But I have to admit I was a little depressed. Like Johnny, watching the video made me realize just how much hair I had lost over the past 20 years, and that video will not be coming back out anytime soon. Now, everyone here knows that I really did enjoy serving as the president of this congregation. It gave me the chance to get to know many of you and to serve the synagogue in the footsteps of my father and my great-grandfather. As president, though, I also had the chance to work so very closely with Bob, and we developed a very close friendship over the years. And I want to put you tonight in the time machine and take you back to the year 2007 when I became president. The congregation was just getting back on its feet after Katrina. Many families had left, and we were rightfully concerned about our synagogue's future. Katrina placed a serious strain on us, and we had our mortgage to deal with too. Everyone here remembers that Congregation Beth Israel was using our Bart community room because its synagogue had been destroyed. The rabbi, and let me tell you, was instrumental in helping me, the Board of Trustees, and this congregation in those 2 critical years. Bob worked with Beth Israel's rabbi to make sure the 2 congregations could coexist in a positive way. His optimism, level-headedness, and wise counsel helped me and the board to negotiate a fair deal with Beth Israel to sell them the land on which they ultimately built their building. And because of that, they have bounced back from the storm. At the same time, through the rabbi's leadership, we had a major fundraiser and were able to retire our mortgage, setting the stage for our recovery after Katrina. 2 congregations were helped by Bob Lowy in those years. In that same period of time, though, the rabbi never lost sight of the spiritual needs of this place. Not only did he provide emotional support for us, but he also helped put our new prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, into our weekly Shabbat services. Let me just say, it was a busy 2 years. But I did learn another thing about the rabbi when I was president, and that's his deep and abiding love for the New Orleans Saints. We began a tradition which lives on to this day of texting one another during the games and dissecting the action. Let me tell you, the rabbi, unlike me, is relentlessly positive about his saints and never believes they're out of a game, no matter the score or the opponent. He just tells me, "League, have faith." That's powerful. That's powerful. We'll need your positive mojo this year, Bob, for the Saints to be winners. Let me just finish by saying how blessed we are to have at this congregation long-tenured rabbis. Rabbi Sher served for 40 years, and now Rabbi Lowy is at 30 years and going strong. This rabbinic stability, I really believe, has allowed us to not only overcome the hard challenges we faced, but has allowed Gates of Prayer to flourish and prosper over the years. Rabbi, on behalf of everyone here, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you for your 30 years of service.
Thank you, Lee. We have a small gift for the rabbi for his 30 years of being with us that I would like to present to him. It's very precious, so I'm going to carefully hand it to you. It's engraved in Hebrew and English, and it says, "Congregation Gates of Prayer, honoring Rabbi Robert H. Lowy, 30 years, 2014.
Gift. Thank you for all of you being here this evening, the three presenters. I will have more comments later, to be continued, but appreciate it. Look, a special word of thanks. Earlier, Lee made a reference to the Beth Israel connection, and we have a very strong table of the leadership of Congregation Beth Israel here, and we appreciate you being here.
Like any good synagogue president who is concerned about the well-being of our congregation, I am calling up Mike Fine, who is in charge, one of the co-chairs for our fundraiser for next year. We have such a captive audience here that I'm going to let him speak for a minute about our fundraiser for next year. And then after he speaks, we will head over to services. We'll do Birkat Hamazon with Tori, and then we'll go to services. While you're speaking, I'm going to start passing.
Thank you, Michelle. By the way, it's 4-0 Florida in the fourth inning. Thank you for wearing Florida colors tonight. I appreciate that great deal. I do want to, it's great to see this many people here for such a great occasion. It's a great tribute to the rabbi. It's a lot of fun to sit here, meet some new people I haven't met. I've only been with this congregation 3 years. And of course, the first thing I get when I'm sitting on the table is a fortune cookie that says, pick another fortune cookie. But I'm very fortunate to be able, that Michelle will give me just a couple of minutes tonight to tell you about 12, 13, 14. 12, 13, 14. While we celebrate the last 30 years of the rabbi here at Congregation Gates of Prayer, we want to look forward to the future as well. And next year's gala will be an art re-auction. No minimum, no reserve. It will take place, remember this date, 12, 13, 14. We're all going to be repeating it because you're going to hear it again and again and again. And it's very important. This will be a gala. We are not going to compete with the nursery school this year. We're going to come in December. And I'll bet not one of you at this point has an invitation to a Christmas party, Hanukkah party, on the second Saturday night in December. Saturday night, December 13th. What we need right now from you is fine art, not so fine art, collectibles, memorabilia, things we can use in the silent auction, and but mainly we need you. We need some help getting some art to our into the synagogue office. And in return for your donation, we'll give you a receipt which will be tax deductible. So I hope you can help us out. Bring that art that's in your attic to synagogue. You'll get a donation. You'll get a receipt. And 12, 13, 14, we're going to give you a real good time because there's nothing else you got to do that night. Michelle, thank you very much.
There are beer cut sheets being handed out. I invite everyone to take one. And while we're sitting here waiting, he doesn't know I'm going to do this. Carrie, would you stand up? Just stand up for a second. Just stand up for a second. Rabbi, would you stand up? I cannot tell you how many people in line wanted to know if the rabbi's brother had come. That's great. That's really good.
One night I was walking in here and somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and it's the rabbi's dad. He says, "Oh, I thought you were my son."
As I said, beer cut sheets are being handed out. I invite everyone to participate as best as you can. If you spend any time at Jacob's camp, you should know this by heart, or at any other camp, you should know this by heart. So I invite you to sing along with me. We begin on the first page where it says on Shabbat with Shir HaMa'alot. Shir HaMa'alot Beshuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Lainu Behomim Ajimale Skopinu Ushonenu Rina Az Yomru V'Adoi Igdil Adonai Lasot Imelech Igdil Adonai Lasot Imanu Hayinu Semechim Shuv Adonai Et Shiviteinu Ka'afikim Ba'negem Azorim Ve'dima Ve'rina Yitzoru Halok Yelechu Ba'achos Naseh Neshech Hazara Oyamo Yamo Verina Noseh Amulachav Chaverai Nevarech Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach Me'etav Yad Olam Birshut Chaverai Nevarech Eloheinu Shachanu Mishelo Baruch Eloheinu Shachanu Mishelo Uvtuvo Chayinu Baruch Eloheinu Shachanu Mishelo Uvtuvo Chayinu Baruch Baruch Shemo Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Hasad et HaOlam Kulo B'Shuvo Ve'en Chesed U'Rachamim U'Notein Lechem Lechol Basar Ki Le'olam Chazor U'Tuvo Hagadol Tamid L'Basar Lanu Ve'Ayisar Lanu Ma'azon Le'olam Va'ed Ba'ur Shemo Hagadol Yurazon U'Farnesh La'Kol U'Metiv La'Kol U'Metiv Ma'azon Le'Chol B'Yotav Asher Bara Baruch Atah Adonai Azan et Hakol Kapkatu ve'achata v'samata u'berachta et Adonai Elohecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach Baruch atah Adonai al ha'aretz ve'al ha'amazon u'v'nei Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh v'meira v'yameinu Baruch atah Adonai Bonei
Chalenu le'olam va'ed. Baruch Haman. V'yitzbarach b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. We're going to go to the last one for Shabbat. Baruch Haman. V'yashlach lanu el haliyah v'zeravi. Well, I'm getting there. Baruch Haman. V'yanchilenu yom shekulo Shabbat. U'nucha l'chayei ha'olam. Oseh shalom b'Ramav. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'alchu Yisrael v'yiveru amen. Adonai ozne'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. I believe we are about 25 minutes from the start of our service. I invite you all to do whatever you need to do to get ready to go in for a lovely, lovely evening.